Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys this really easy to do lesson that requires students to do very high level thinking. So this lesson in particular is about the Mayans, but you can do it about any topic you want, pretty much. It works better with world history stuff, but you can definitely do this also with U.S. history stuff. I made a video like this on the Donner Party, for example, and that lesson and everything you need for it can also be found on my YouTube channel, Teaching Juntos, as well as this lesson itself. You can actually find it in the description of this video. Okay, so I'm going to post a link to that so you guys can take a look. But pretty much the way this works, this is called digging for the truth. And the way this works is basically analyzing different artifacts of a civilization or of an event and using history skills in order to analyze these artifacts. So the whole premise of this one in particular is that you're going to a Mayan temple pretty much, and you're making your way through the temple. And as you're making your way through the temple, you find different artifacts or exhibits, or I call them exhibits, but they're artifacts essentially. And basically, you use a sentence frame or these sentence frames in order to analyze these different artifacts. Right? I think this is an art. I think this artifact is and they have to try to guess what they think the artifact is, and more importantly, what does it tell them about the Mayan civilization, and why they think that. Okay, so that's basically the goal of this. They're trying to figure out what these artifacts are and what information they can gain about the Mayans based off of this. And that's exactly what historians do. And that's what I love about this lesson. It really gets the students to be like historians, right? To think like historians. Just like when they go and they find an ancient ruin, they're analyzing these artifacts and making conclusions about those artifacts based on prior knowledge or just based on how it looks, and using their analytical skills here, right? So for example, for this exhibit A or artifact A, it's basically a makawil, which was a Mayan weapon essentially, right? So they have to try to figure out the fact that it's a weapon based off of this. And I always tell my students, it's okay if you're wrong, right? That's the most important part of this. Historians are wrong as well. The whole point is to draw conclusions based off of what you're seeing, right? And there's different artifacts here. This is a Mayan calendar, for example, and in the notes section of the PowerPoint, you can actually find what these artifacts are, and you can even change the artifacts if you want. That's what I like about this lesson and why it's so easy to do for any civilization, right? Usually do it in the very beginning of the unit. That way the students get very intrigued by the civilization. They don't know a lot about it, and it helps them to start formulating ideas about a given civilization. Okay, so then I also add, after every artifact, I then tell them what the artifact is, and then I explain a little bit about it. So, for example, for this one, I added a couple pictures just to explain how this is basically a statue of a Mayan hunting. So I go into a little bit about how the Mayans would hunt, how they use slingshots and whatnot. And then I continue on here, and yeah, basically they go around, they analyze different artifacts that they might find in this temple. So finally, at the end, they answered this last question: do you think the Mayans were impressive? Why or why not? So based on the artifacts that they found and the knowledge they were able to gain from them, do they think they were impressive based on their opinions, based on what they learned from today's lessons? Like I said, this is the first lesson of the unit, and it basically helps to start getting the students thinking about the Mayans. Obviously, very engaging. The students love sharing their answers about what they think the different artifacts are. On purpose, I try to find very mysterious looking artifacts, to get them thinking and to build some interest in the civilization. So yeah, go ahead and give it a try. It's very easy to do. Like I said, you can do it with any civilization. Just find intriguing artifacts. You can try to keep them very realistic. You can try to, for example, just pick one actual ruin and find actual artifacts from that given place. So I do that sometimes for some of these, but sometimes I change it up just to include things that might have been there anyways, the other very intriguing artifacts. So for this one, half of them were actually found in Tikal and the other half weren't. But just to make it a little more interesting for the students, I really wanted to choose some very intriguing looking artifacts. So yeah, go ahead and give it a try. Like I said, the PowerPoint itself is found in the description of this video.